Hey family, this is day 45 of our Reading Through the Bible Together in a Year series. Today we're covering Numbers chapters 22 through 24. Now where we are up to this point is that Israel has been in the wilderness post Mount Sinai. So they've gone through a series of tests where it's not necessarily that God was testing them, but that they were testing God and they were complaining and doing terrible things, and God was putting up with most of it. And then finally there's a culmination event where they want to go back to Egypt again, and God says, fine, this generation who lived in Egypt, you won't enter the promised land. And so we're still seeing some of that going on now. But let's see how today goes. Then the children of Israel, journeying on, put up their tents in the lowlands of Moab, on the other side of Yarden at Jericho. Now Balak the son of Zippor saw what Israel had done to the Amorites, and in Moab there was a great fear of the people, because their numbers were so great. And the feeling of Moab was bitter against the children of Israel. Then Moab said to the responsible men of Midian, "It is clear that this great people will be the destruction of everything round us, making a meal of us as the ox does of the grass of the field." At that time Balak the son of Zippor was king of Moab. So he sent men to Bilam the son of Beor at Petor by the river in the land of the children of his people, saying to him, "See, a people has come out of Egypt, covering all the face of the earth, and they have put up their tents opposite to me. Come now, in answer to my prayer, and put a curse on this people, for they are greater than I, and then I may be strong enough to overcome them and send them out of the land. For it is clear that good comes to him who has your blessing, but he on whom you put your curse is cursed." So the responsible men of Moab and Midian went away, taking in their hands rewards for the prophet. And they came to Bilam and said to him what Balak had given them orders to say. And he said to them, "Take your rest here tonight, and I will give you an answer after hearing what Yahweh says." So the chiefs of Moab kept there with Bilam that night. And God came to Bilam and said, "Who are these men with you?" And Bilam said to God, "Balak the son of Zippor, king of Moab, has sent them to me, saying, 'See, the people who have come out of Egypt are covering all the earth. Now put a curse on this people for me, so that I may be able to make war on them, driving them out of the land.' And God said to Bilam, 'You are not to go with them, or put a curse on this people, for they have my blessing.' In the morning Bilam got up and said to the chiefs of Balak, 'Go back to your land, for Yahweh will not let me go with you.' So the chiefs of Moab went back to Balak and said, 'Bilam will not come with us.' So Balak sent more chiefs, greater in number and of higher position than the others, and they came to Bilam and said, 'Balak, son of Zippor, says, Let nothing keep you from coming to me, for I will give you a place of very great honor, and whatever you say to me I will do. So come, in answer to my prayer, and put a curse on this people.' But Bilam in answer said to the servants of Balak, 'Even if Balak gave me his house full of silver and gold, it would not be possible for me to do anything more or less than the orders of Yahweh, my God. So take your rest here this night until I have knowledge what more Yahweh has to say to me.' And that night God came to Bilam and said to him, 'If these men have come for you, go with them, but do only what I say to you.' So in the morning Balaam got up, and making his donkey ready, went with the chiefs of Moab. But God was moved to wrath because he went. And the angel of Yahweh took up a position in the road to keep him from his purpose. Now he was seated on his donkey, and his 2 servants were with him. And the donkey saw the angel of Yahweh waiting in the road with his sword in his hand. And turning from the road, the donkey went into the field. And Bilam gave the donkey blows to get her back on the road. Then the angel of Yahweh took up his position in a narrow road through the vine gardens, with a wall on this side and on that. And the donkey saw the angel of Yahweh and went near the wall, crushing Balaam's foot against the wall, and he gave her more blows. Then the angel of Yahweh went further, stopping in a narrow place where there was no room for turning to the right or to the left. And the donkey saw the angel of Yahweh and went down on the earth under Balaam, and full of wrath Balaam gave her hard blows with his stick. Then Yahweh gave the donkey the power of talking, and opening her mouth she said to Balaam, 'What have I done to you that you have given me blows these 3 times?' And Balaam said to the donkey, 'You have made me seem foolish. If only I had a sword in my hand, I would put you to death.' And the donkey said to Balaam, 'Am I not your donkey, upon which you have gone all your life until this day? And have I ever done this to you before?' And he said, 'No.' Then Yahweh made Balaam's eyes open, and he saw the angel of Yahweh in the way with his sword in his hand, and he went down on his face to the earth. And the angel of Yahweh said to him, Why have you given your donkey blows these 3 times? See, I have come out against you to keep you back, because your purpose is not pleasing to me. And the donkey saw me, turning to one side from me 3 times. If she had not gone to one side, I would certainly have put you to death and kept her safe. And Balaam said to the angel of Yahweh, I have done wrong, for I did not see that you were in the way against me. But now, if it is evil in your eyes, I will go back again. And the angel of Yahweh said to Balaam, Go with the men, but say only what I give you to say. Then Balaam went on with the chiefs of Balak. Now Balak, hearing that Balaam had come, went to the chief town of Moab, on the edge of the Arnon, in the farthest part of the land, for the purpose of meeting him. And Balak said to Balaam, Did I not send to you, requesting you with all my heart to come to me? Why did you not come? Am I not able to give you a place of honor? Then Balaam said to Balak, Now I have come to you, but have I power to say anything? Only what God puts into my mouth may I say. And Balaam went with Balak to Kiriath Hutzot. And Balak made offerings of oxen and sheep, and sent to Balaam and the chiefs who were with him. And in the morning Balak took Balaam up to the high places of Baal, and from there he was able to see the outer limits of the people. And Balaam said to Balak, Make me here 7 altars, and get ready 7 oxen and 7 male sheep. And Balak did as Balaam had said. And Balak and Balaam made an offering on every altar of an ox and a male sheep. Then Balaam said to Balak, Take your place by your burnt offering, and I will go and see if Yahweh comes to me, and I will give you word of whatever he says to me. And he went to an open place on a hill, and God came to Balaam, and Balaam said to him, I have made ready 7 altars, offering an ox and a male sheep on every altar. And Yahweh put words in Balaam's mouth, and said, Go back to Balak, and this is what you are to say. So he went back to him, where he was waiting by his burnt offering with all the chiefs of Moab. And in the words which Yahweh had given him, he said, From Aram Balak has sent for me, the king of Moab from the mountain of the east. Come, put curses on Yaakov for me, and be angry with Israel. How may I put curses on him who is not cursed by God? How may I be angry with him with whom Yahweh is not angry? From the top of the rocks I see him, looking down on him from the hills. It is a people made separate, not to be numbered among the nations. Who is able to take the measure of the dust of Yaakov, or the number of the thousands of Israel? May my death be the death of the upright, and my last end like his. Then Balak said to Balaam, What have you done to me? I sent for you so that my haters might be cursed, and see, you have given them a blessing. And in answer he said, Am I not ordered to say only what Yahweh puts into my mouth? And Balak said to him, Come with me now into another place from which you will not be able to see them all, but only the outskirts of them, and you will send curses on them from there. So he took him into the country of Zophim to the top of Pisgah, and there they made 7 altars, offering an ox and a male sheep on every altar. Then he said to Balak, Take your place here by your burned offering, while I go over there to Yahweh. And Yahweh came to Balaam and put words in his mouth and said, Go back to Balak, and this is what you are to say. So he came to him where he was waiting by his burnt offering with the chiefs of Moab by his side. And Balak said to him, What has Yahweh said? And in the words which Yahweh had given him, he said, Up, Balak, and give ear. Give attention to me, O son of Zippor. God is not a man to say what is false, or the son of man that his purpose may be changed. What he has said will he not do? And will he not give effect to the words of his mouth? See, I have had orders to give blessing, and he has given a blessing which I have no power to take away. He has seen no evil in Yaakov or wrongdoing in Israel. Yahweh his God is with him, and the glad cry of a king is among them. It is God who has taken them out of Egypt. His horns are like those of a mountain ox. No evil power has effect against Yaakov, no secret arts against Israel. At the right time it will be said of Yaakov and of Israel, See what God has done. See Israel come up like a she-lion, lifting himself up like a lion. He will take no rest until he has made a meal of those he has overcome, drinking the blood of those he has put to death. Then Balak said to Balaam, If you will not put a curse on them, at all events do not give them a blessing. But Balaam in answer said to Balak, Did I not say to you, I may only do what Yahweh says? Then Balak said to Balaam, Come now, I will take you to another place. It may be that God will let you put a curse on them from there. So Balak took Balaam to the top of Peor, looking down over the wasteland, and Balaam said to Balak, "Make me 7 altars here, and get 7 oxen and 7 male sheep ready for me." And Balak did as Balaam said, offering an ox and a male sheep on every altar. Now when Balaam saw that it was Yahweh's pleasure to give his blessing to Israel, he did not, as at other times, make use of secret arts. But turning his face to the wasteland, and lifting up his eyes, he saw Israel there, with their tents in the order of their tribes. And the Spirit of God came on him. And moved by the Spirit, he said, "These are the words of Balaam, son of Beor, the words of the man whose eyes are open. He says, whose ears are open to the words of God, who has seen the vision of the ruler of all, falling down but having his eyes open. How fair are your tents, O Yaakov, your houses, O Yisrael. They are stretched out like valleys, like gardens by the riverside, like flowering trees planted by Yahweh, like cedar trees by the waters. Peoples will be in fear before his strength, his arm will be on great nations. His king will be higher than Agag, and his kingdom made great in honor. It is God who has taken him out of Egypt. His horns are like those of a mountain ox. The nations warring against him will be his food. Their bones will be broken. They will be wounded with his arrows. He took his sleep stretched out like a lion and like a she-lion. By whom will his rest be broken? May a blessing be on everyone who gives you blessing, and a curse on everyone by whom you are cursed." Then Balak was full of wrath against Balaam, and angrily waving his hands, he said to Balaam, "I sent for you so that those who are against me might be cursed. But now, see, 3 times you have given them a blessing. Go back quickly to the place you came from. It was my purpose to give you a place of honor. But now Yahweh has kept you back from honor." Then Balaam said to Balak, "Did I not say to the men you sent me, even if Balak gave me his house full of silver and gold, it would not be possible for me to go outside the orders of Yahweh, doing good or evil at the impulse of my mind? Whatever Yahweh says, I will say. So now I will go back to my people, but first let me make clear to you what this people will do to your people in days to come." Then he went on with his story and said, "These are the words of Balaam, the son of Beor, the words of him whose eyes are open. He says, whose ear is open to the words of God, who has knowledge of the Most High, who has seen the vision of the ruler of all, falling down and having his eyes open. I see him, but not now, looking on him, but not near. A star will come out of Yaakov, and a rod of authority out of Israel, sending destruction to the farthest limits of Moab, and on the head of all the sons of Sheth. Edom will be his heritage, and he will put an end to the last of the people of Seir. And Israel will go on in strength, and Yaakov will have rule over his haters." Then, turning his eyes to Amalek, he went on with his story and said, "Amalek was the first of the nations, but his part will be destruction forever." And looking on the Kenites, he went on with his story and said, "Strong is your living place, and your secret place is safe in the rock. But still the Kenites will be wasted until Ashur takes you away as prisoner." Then he went on with his story and said, "But who may keep his life when God does this? But ships will come from the direction of Kittim, troubling Ashur and troubling Ever, and like the others their fate will be destruction." Then Balaam got up and went back to his place, and Balak went away. So what an interesting story we have here today. I know that this is a common story that is taught in Sunday school when we're little kids, because what better than a talking donkey and an angel in the middle of the road for a good children's story? However, I think that because we have learned this as a children's story, we just kind of ignore it and don't look into it. We get into what I like to call the lullaby effect, where we've heard something so many times that we no longer pay any attention to it because we just hear it, and that's normal. But this is a super weird story. I mean, for one, Balak, the king, wants Balaam to curse Israel. And so he sends people to Balaam, and Balaam's like, "I can only do what Yahweh tells me to do." Balaam is attributing himself as a follower of Yahweh, first off, even though he's not an Israelite. So that's off the bat kind of a little bit strange, but interesting. But Balaam has this whole personality that he's not going to do what God doesn't tell him to do. And then finally, God tells him to go with Balak's men. And Balaam does, and then the angel of Yahweh shows up because of God's wrath, and that Balaam went, even though God told him to go. So, like, this story is just is weird. It's different. It's shoved in here. I think that this is more of a narrative storytelling And it has traits of that, and it's shoved in here to say something specific. Now, I don't know specifically what that is, but if you just start comparing the details, like the donkey tries to turn away or save Balaam's life 3 times before God opens up the donkey's mouth and it can talk, and then opens up Balaam's eyes to be able to see the angel of Yahweh. And then parallel to that, in chapters 23 and 24, Balaam's 3 speeches or whatever, or the 3, him and Balak go up and they offer the animals on 7 altars 3 times, and it's the 3rd time that Balaam's eyes are opened and he claims all of the blessings on Israel. So it's a much deeper story than just the children's story where the donkey talks, right? This is like one of 2 places in the Bible where the animal speaks. That might be an exaggeration, but you know what I'm talking about. This is worth rereading and meditating over. I think it's odd. So I hope that you do that as you have a wonderful day.